Hi, and welcome to Clappia. In this video, we'll learn how to use the email input block available in Clappia. The email input block is designed to collect and validate email addresses within your app, ensuring data accuracy for communication, subscriptions, support, etc. Let's see how to use this with the help of a simple example. In my dashboard, I will select this app. I've started to create an app called Vendor Management, and I want to use the email input block to capture the contact email of the vendor. Let's see how to add this to this app. I'll go to the Design app where we can edit the application. You can see all the earlier fields. Now I'll click on Add Field and select the email input block. This block can be configured on the right-hand panel. First, I will give it a name. Let's say vendor email. Next is the description. The description normally appears at the bottom of the field. It is used to act as a helpful guide for the user, or you could leave it blank. But I'll give it a description. Let's say please enter the vendor's primary email address. Then we have the default value. If your requirements normally consist of the same email address multiple times, then you can keep that as the default value, or you could just leave it blank. In this case, I will do so. And now I'll click on Save. Let's see how this looks like in App Home. The email input field is now added to the app. You can also see the description has been included. Now, if I were to enter an invalid email format, for example, I'll just give in some text and click on Submit. An error message will prompt me to correct it. Only once I input a valid email address, it is ready to be submitted. Now, if you want this field to be a mandatory field, you can do so by going back to Design app, and on the right panel, we have the option Required. If you enable this and save it, this field is now denoted with a red star mark, which means that the user will not be able to make a submission unless they input the email address. So if I go back to App Home, and let's say I click on Submit, it'll throw me an error message, since this is now a required field. Now, let's say I would like this field to appear in the app only if the vendor type is service provider, and if any other option is selected, or if none are selected, this field should not appear in the app. Such display conditions can be implemented. So again, in the email inputs right panel, I'll go to the advanced section. Here we have display this field if. Use this to show or hide the field under specific conditions. You can use spreadsheet functions. Clappia shares a similar library, and you can pull up field values with the help of variable names, which you can find at the top of every field in brackets. So like I mentioned, display this field only if vendor type is selected as service provider. So to pull up the field, I'll type in @vendor type, select this, equals to service provider. You'll also get an additional option that says retain value if hidden. Enable this if you want the field's value to be retained even when the field is hidden based on certain conditions or requirements that you set. Normally, it is kept as enabled. Now I'll save this and go back to App Home. You can see the email input field is no longer visible in the app. If I were to select maybe say distributor, nothing happens, but if I were to select service provider, the email input field appears. I can then make a submission to this app. Let's say I make a random submission. You can view all your submissions under the Submissions tab. Click on a submission and a right-hand panel will appear capturing all the details. Now over here you can see I'm able to make edits to this field. If you want to restrict your user in doing so, you can go back to the Design app, and under the Advanced section, we have the option Allow value to be changed after initial submission. If you were to disable this option, save it and check the submissions again. Just scroll down. You can see it is now restricting me from making any edit. This field also works the exact same in the Clappia mobile app. If you haven't downloaded it already, you can do so either on Play Store or App Store. And the moment you create your app or make any edits or assign it to users, it'll be live and ready to use instantly. So in this way, you can configure the email input block. If you have any questions or need help in configuring the email input block or on any other feature in Clappia, feel free to reach out to us by clicking on Request Support. Thank you.